Year 9, just a quick video to remind you about bounds and how to find the area of a rectangle using bounds. It's your work on Maths Watch this week as well as the quiz on Show My Homework. So the first question I've got is, the number was rounded to the nearest thousand, find the upper and lower bounds. So if you remember, we used these in lesson. If you aren't sure or you forget about bounds, they're a really nice thing to go back to. So I put 16,000 in the middle. You think of 1,000 above because that's what it's been rounded to. And then 1,000 below. They are my two numbers. Now the two important numbers, the actual upper and lower bounds, are the two numbers in the circles. So my lower bound will be 15,500 and my upper bound would be 16,500. So anything between those two numbers, okay, it would always be rounded to 16,000. Obviously, this one is the slight odd one, as normally if it's 5 or above you round up, but we're assuming it's 16,499.999 recurring. So to make life easier and to calculate easier, we just go for the whole number. So for that one, my lower bound is 15,500 and my upper bound is 16,500. So if I look at the next question, this has been rounded to the nearest 100. So I'll start with 500 in the middle. And I'm going to go 400 here below and 100 above is 600. So my two numbers in the circles will be my bounds. So between 400 and 500, 450, and between 500 and 600 is 550. Okay, they should be, once you've remembered them, quite quick. Some of them do get a little bit tricky when we start thinking of if we rounded to significant figures, but we'll get in a second. So 74 in the middle. I'll try and stick to the colours to make life easier. And the pen work, there we go, 74. So whole, one less is 73. One more is 75. So my upper and lower bounds are going to be 73.5 and 74.5. Okay, that's it for that question. This one has been rounded to the nearest one decimal place. So if I start with 1.7 in the middle, and then if I think of one decimal place less, it's 1.6. One decimal place more is 1.8. And then I can fill in these here. So this one will be 1. .65 and 1.75. Okay, I apologise, the pen's sometimes a little bit unresponsive. Okay, so upper and lower bounds for those are a little bit more tricky than whole numbers, but again, if you use the number line, it should help if you are a little bit unsure. So, rounded to one significant figure. So that means that I've got one digit. Okay, the first digit that isn't a 0 is going to be one number. So you should only have one number that's not a 0. So for this, if I've rounded this one significant figure, it's the same as rounding to the nearest 10. So I'll have 30 in the middle, 20 here, and 40 here. Okay, they're all one significant figure. I've only got one digit that's not a 0. So in the middle, 25 as a lower bound and 35 as an upper bound. 25 and 35 are both two significant figure numbers. Okay, so if we were just rounded to one significant figure, they would change to 30. Last but not least, on the figuring out the upper and lower bounds, it's been rounded to two significant figures. So 35 goes in the middle. So two significant figures, if I think of the significant figures less than that, okay, it's going to be 34. And that's just well. I will 1 second. Start that one again. So 35 is in the middle. I have 34 here and 36 here. So if I've rounded to two significant figures, that must have meant that I've rounded to the nearest whole one, because this is my second significant figure. So my lower bound is 34.5. It will work eventually. There we go. And my upper bound is 35.5. Okay, they're always a 1 mark question. So if you ask for the upper bound, it's 1 mark. If you ask for the lower bound, it'll be another mark. Okay, the question that I'm going to ask you is that the rectangle have lengths that are correct to the nearest centimetre. So if I look at these, that's the nearest whole number. And I want the upper and lower bounds of the area. So you'll get marks just for writing down the upper and lower bounds. Now, it doesn't matter which one I call width and length, but I'll call that one width and that one length just for now. It doesn't matter which way around you would do them. So the upper bound for the width would be 9.5. The lower bound would be 8.5. So both of those to the nearest whole number, in theory, would be rounded to 9. This obviously would have to be 9.499999, but 9.5 for ease of working out. The length then, the upper bound would be 5.5 and the lower bound 4.5. Now, if I'm trying to find the lowest possible number and I'm multiplying two numbers together, that means I'm going to take the two smallest numbers possible. So I'm going to 8.5 and I'm going to multiply, because it's area, by 4.5. I'll find the answer in 1 second. And for the upper bound, if I want the biggest possible answer, I'm going to use the biggest two numbers available to me for the width and the length. So if I grab the calculator, we are going to do 8.5 times 4.5. It's going to leave me with 38.25. And if I just do the other one, 9.5 times by 5.5 is 52.25.